Hello! During the New Year holidays, I prepared a video about how the New Year was celebrated in ancient cultures. In Mesopotamia, people began celebrating the New Year for the first time. The first new moon after the spring equinox is not only the beginning of the year, but also the ascension of the ruler to the throne. At the end of each year, the ruler left and then solemnly returned. The New Year in ancient Egypt began in June-July, when the star Sirius appeared before sunrise. This is the symbol of the goddess Sobdet, who was responsible for the flooding of the Nile. Therefore, the first season of year was flood. Oxid. Navruz translated to New Day. This is a religious holiday of Zoroastrianism, which has been officially celebrated since the time of the Achaemenid dynasty. Before the celebration, it was necessary to clean up the house and pay off debts. Zoroastrians believed that it was a great sin to make debts, and even more so not to repay them. The New Year began in the spring on 21st of March. During the festival, the inhabitants of province brought gifts to the ruler, commemorated to the souls of the dead, and worshipped fire. The Jewish New Year is called Rosh Hashanah, which translates as the beginning of the year. The holiday is celebrated during the 2 days on the month of Tishri, which fall on September or October according to the Gregorian calendar. On this day, it is customary to blow the shofar. People can cook food, but, of course, they can't walk. The Jewish people believe that this is the 6th day of creation. On this day, God judges the whole world, decides who will live, and determines each person's income for the next year. In ancient Greece, the New Year was hot and summery. It was celebrated on the 22nd of June, on the day of the summer solstice. People drank a lot of wine because Dionysus, the god of winemaking, was especially revered. A procession was organized in his honor, during which priests dressed on goat skins, imitating satyrs, sang him in bleating voices. Unfortunately, I could not find enough reliable information about the celebration of the New Year by the Etruscans. But there were 2 New Year's dates in ancient Rome. One in the 1st of March, in honor of the goddess of the hearth Vesta. On this day, the fire burning in her temple was extinguished and rekindled by rubbing with sticks or using a lance. So, it was until 45 BC when Julius Caesar introduced the Julian calendar and moved the celebration to the 1st of January. This month is named after the 2 faces Janus, the god of doors, entrances, exits, and all beginnings. His 2 faces symbolized that he knew the past and the future. Coins with images of Janus were the most often gifts, and also laurel branches and dates and fruits wrapped in gilding. that is very similar to our usual New Year's toys. The Romans decorated their houses just like the Celts. The New Year of the Celts was called Samhain. It was celebrated for a whole week, the middle of which fell on the 1st of November. On this day, a passage opened between the world of the living and the world of the dead. The most ancient ugly Fomorians and their later neighbors toward the Danann, and any souls of the dead could come from another world. After the arrival of Christianity, this holiday turned into Halloween. The Scandinavians celebrated the New Year on the longest night of the year, on the 21st or 22nd of December. When the year finally crossed the darkness line and day began to grow. Soon the royal oak will wake up, which will wake up all nature. The holiday was called Yule and was celebrated for 12 nights. A boar was sacrificed, a symbol of fire, one of fertility. The animal was cooked and oaths were pronounced over its head. According to legend, at this time there was a wild hunt, when spirits, fairies, elves and other supernatural beings, led, for example, by Odin, rode the earth collecting the souls of people. The symbol of the constant cycle of life was the Yule log, which was set on fire on the first day, then it smoldered for 12 days, and the next year a new one was set on fire from it. As a log, it was recommended to take ash tree, the symbol of the world tree Yggdrasil. I'll tell you honestly, with the celebration of the New Year, the Slavs have a terrible mess. The dates of March 1st and September 1st have been announced. Moreover, there is a version that it was noted in parallel. Both dates are consistent with other cultures. As I have already said, the Romans celebrate in the 1st of March, before the introduction of the Julian calendar. In September is a Jewish holiday. But this is not all the information. The dates of the summer and winter solstice were also announced. Other neighbors had similar holiday. The Greeks celebrated on 22nd of June and the Scandinavians on the 21st or 22nd of December. The last opinion that I found, 21st of March, corresponds of the tradition of the Zoroastrians. Indians celebrate the New Year in the spring, but the date is different in each state. The celebration begins with a festive food for sacred cows. People also give gifts to the poor and delight themselves with new clothes. This holiday is called in different ways. There are at least two similar celebrations, Lori in January and Diwali in autumn. About how and when the Chinese celebrate the New Year can create a special video, which I'm going to do. But now I'm just talking about the most basic points. So, the Chinese New Year literally translates as Spring Festival. And therefore, as you understand, it has little to do with winter, Also, its celebration falls between the 21st of January and the 21st of February. According to the lunar calendar, it is already spring. However, outside of China, in Chinese diasporas around the world, it is customary to use the term Chinese New Year. The date of the celebration is the second new moon after the winter solstice, for which it's also called the Lunar New Year. Before the event, the Chinese clean their houses and buy new clothes. This holiday is a family holiday. Therefore, wherever in the world the inhabitants of the Celestial Empire work, they prefer to be at home in China for a pre-holiday dinner. The celebrations last 15 days and they end with the Lantern Festival. Some of them are lit and hung out on the streets to bring home spirits who have gone to report to another world. Others are launched into the sky, lighting the way for the souls of their ancestors, who, on the contrary, came to their descendants to celebrate the New Year. Perhaps I will stop at this for now and move on to the New Year traditions of the American Indians. It is believed that the Aztecs celebrated the New Year on the 12th of March, since this date is still used by the Nahua people. Also, there are other calculations that suggest postpone everything to the 23rd of February. To this day, modern American Indians light candles, set off fireworks, sing songs, and beat drums. The symbol of the holiday is a pine. The ancient Aztecs treated the celebration differently, especially if it happened at the end of 52-year cycle, because the end of the world may come. According to Aztec beliefs, the world has collapsed with the sun and moon 4 times already. Therefore, before the holiday, the ceremony of binding years or new fire was held. First, people cleaned the houses and threw away everything old. Put out the fire not only in the temples but also at home. At night, the priests went to the sacred mountain and waited there until the constellation of the Pleiades will be at the base. At the next stage, they lit a fire by rubbing sticks and, according to some sources, they did it on the side of the hut that had just been torn out. The flame was burning up, which means that the cataclysm was postponed for the next 52 years. The fire lit by the priests was passed on to the people to light houses and lamps in all houses and temples. About Maya, I found out only that the New Year was celebrated in July, and this was accompanied by disposal of old things and the use of new ones. The Incas called the fest of renewal Inti Raymi, or Feast of the Sun. It was the most important of the 4 major annual celebrations. The holiday was celebrated on the day of the winter solstice, and they have it in June. Before the start of celebration, the Incas observed strict fasting, did not have sex, and did not light a bonfire. During the festival, they ate, sang, danced, dressed in their best, and put on public display the mummies of all former rulers, direct descendants of the sun and moon, and also thanked the goddess of fertility Pachamama and asked her for a good harvest. The modern reconstruction of Inti Raymi has been held annually since 1944, on the day of the 24th of June in Peru, on the territory of ancient capital Cusco, in the citadel of Sacsayhuaman. It just so happens that many cultures are united by the tradition of putting their houses in order. I don't know about you, but I like it. I also like to throw away everything old for the new year to make place for gifts. And I also like to cook a festive table. All day before the holiday, I cut salads, make sandwiches, cook desserts. For me, this expectation of a holiday is no less valuable than the holiday itself. How do you like to celebrate the New Year? Is there anything unusual in your family traditions? Write to me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Please like this video. If you find a mistake in my English, please write to me in the comments. Thank you for your attention and Happy New Year!